Hello, thank you so much for coming by. It really means the world. My name is Angelica, and this is Angel's Thoughts, my perfectly imperfect channel. Today I will be doing another AMA with my little dog. I love him. Today's question comes from Tom Timmons Show over on Instagram. Tom Timmons Show writes, here it is. What advice would you give to teenagers trying to figure out who they are? That is quite a question. And I tried filming this a few times, and I don't know, I almost discarded the question, like, nah, next. But I'm like, no. I am striving to be the person to do the uncomfortable thing and to do the scary thing, which I will talk about later on in the video. But first, I would like to reframe this question for my comfort anyway, about advice I would give to anyone and everyone looking to figure out who they are, no matter what stage of life you find yourself in. And heck, maybe you know exactly who you are, but maybe you're curious as to my thoughts on what I would suggest people do to figure that out. So I'll be doing this in little sections. First couple of sections will be simple, easy ways to start figuring out who you are, and then I'll progress into the more, for some, very uncomfortable ways of how you see yourself and who you are. So I'd like to begin by stating that who you are right now in this moment will constantly change and evolve and grow as you move through life. I mean, I would hope that you would want to change, grow, and evolve into a better version of yourself. So I believe that figuring out who you are is an ongoing process throughout your whole entire life. And why I don't really want to gear this specifically towards teenagers is because I didn't start figuring out who I was until my 30s, and I'm now in my 50s. And am I even relatable to younger generations? So that's why I just gear this towards whoever's interested in my opinion. With that said, all right, first, I highly recommend journaling, writing out all the things that I am going to give you tips on delving into discovering who you are. So write. I know it immensely helps me. Also, solitude, and I will touch more on that in future sections of this video. So first, I would like to suggest that if you are completely clueless as to who you are and you have no idea where to begin, start super small. And in the beginnings of this, even now in these super small things, from this day forward, I recommend that you start living life, moving throughout your day in mindful consciousness. And like I said, start little. Start with your likes and your dislikes. The things that you like music, movies, clothing choices, food, all those little things. You'll see the things that you like and the things that you don't like. And those are the first level of what makes you, you. And those things will even change over time. Me, for instance, say clothing choices. I sometimes like to just always wear baggy pants every single day. Then one day I'll be like, no, I want to change. So I'll start wearing my bootcut jeans all the time. And then that will change. And then I'll just wear sweatpants for a couple of weeks. You know, it's just, it's okay to have likes and dislikes and move around them and change your mind on those particular things. Then second, I suggest you start consciously, mindfully thinking about, your preferences, how you prefer to do things. Do you like to stay up late? Do you like to go to bed early so you can get up early? Do you like to wake up, brush your teeth, and eat your food? Like, these are the ways you prefer to do things. And that's another level of what makes you, you. For example, those things will change. For myself, I used to wake up, eat breakfast, and then brush my teeth. Then, now I decided I don't really like eating breakfast, so I eat breakfast later in the day. Years ago, I used to wake up, brush my teeth, and then eat breakfast. And I noticed, like, I always have food in my mouth. I have to go and brush my teeth again. And then, wow, I can wake up, eat breakfast, then brush my teeth. And there, your preferences on how you like to do things change. So there's like all these little things that you can first begin to discover things about yourself. Then you start to take it a step further and be conscious of how you interact with people in the world. And these will bring in your beliefs, your values, and things like that. And those you can change too over time. So especially for teenagers, it's really difficult because we're all raised by parents, caregivers, somebody that you are fully and utterly, totally dependent upon for your shelter, your food, your clothes, and what have you. And they're all you know for the first portion of your life. So unwittingly, you're taking in all of their likes, their dislikes, their values, their beliefs. And because it's all you know, and this is the person you're dependent on, so this, in a lot of people, will create parts of yourself that you suppress and masks that you will form in order to gain favor from your caregivers because they're giving you care and you want to please them. So it starts to get tricky now because not all parents and caregivers are healthy. And this is my point of experience that I can speak from because that's how I grew up. I grew up being raised by a very violent mother. Then from there was taken away by Child Protective Services, put into the foster care, group home, children, juvenile institutions. And then so I not only developed these suppressed parts of myself and these masks from my mother, but then I developed more shadows by suppressing things and building masks for survival in the system of being a ward of the Court of New York State. So yeah, there's just like so much that can go into what forms you as a person when you're young. And that's why I say live in consciousness of how you move in the world, because you will come to a point in your life, whether you're a teenager, young adult, or beyond, where wow, these beliefs that I grew up with don't really align with who I am, and you can change them. That's the beauty of life. You can introspect and reflect and change these aspects about you that you don't like, and you can build upon the aspects about yourself that you do like. And this is like kind of hard stuff, in my opinion, for a teenager, because looking back, I couldn't do that. As I mentioned, I didn't start discovering myself till my 30s because of all this stuff that I had to go through as a child and a teenager. I just shut down, and then I self-medicated for quite a while. And yeah, that was not healthy, and I changed that about myself. And I'm so proud of myself. And yes, celebrate your wins in making yourself do things for the better, as hard as they are, as scary as they are. I do always recommend doing the scary and the hard things, but I digress. So we go back to childhood and how we're kind of influenced by our caregivers. And then we get put into the school system. Now, not everybody goes into the school system. That ice cream truck is the bane of my existence, and I am not starting over. So if you hear the jingle, sorry, not sorry. So yes. So when we're children, not only have we been subjected to the beliefs, the likes, the dislikes, and the preferences of our caregivers, then those of us who get put into a school system, I mean, I get it, not everybody does. Some are homeschooled, some don't get to go to school. But for those of us who get put into a school system, then there's more people, more teachers and authority figures putting their projections onto you, creating more suppressed parts of ourselves and more masks to place into the world to be accepted. And then there's peers. Oh my goodness. I was the kid who would suppress lots and lots and lots of parts of myself and put up masks for acceptance and to be liked. And yeah, that's how I grew up in my mind. So if this might help you, awesome. If not, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So I was the kid who was like that. And here's a funny story that I was just talking about with my bestie out in Los Angeles not too long ago. When I was in about the 3rd grade, I was still living with my mother at this time. And I was smiling. And I knew, like, when I was in school, I was really happy, even though I wasn't very good at the learning parts of it. Like, I loved the music part of class and I loved the art part of class. So I would look forward to those. And yeah, for whatever reason, I was smiling. And this boy comes up to me and is like, "Why do you smile all the time?" And I'm just like, taken aback, like, confused. And he's like, "Well, my dad says people who smile all the time are idiots. Are you an idiot?" And I was like, oh. And then I became self-conscious of every time I smiled. And when I caught myself smiling, I would stop smiling and just put on a blank face. And like, that's what I would do. And then it took me years and years and years to recognize that about myself and been like, oh my goodness. And now looking back, like, that really sucks that this little kid, was influenced by this little kid who was influenced by his dad. Like, so I'm influenced by this grown man who I never even met, who I don't even know, instilling that smiling is a sign of idiocy, and then placed upon me. And I took it to heart. And so you'll discover as you grow that, like, these things that you collect from everybody around you, doesn't really serve you. And for some people, it's really scary to shed these ideas and these beliefs. And it'll take time. So it's good to sit and write about how you move about in the world, or to even live consciously on how you move about in the world. Are you the kid that's like me, that will not like something or like something just to please somebody else? If someone I look up to, or I think I want to gain a rapport with, and if they don't like something, will I not like it too, just to gain acceptance? I don't think, in my opinion, that that's a healthy way to live. And this is when we start getting into more in depth about values and what you value in yourself and what you value in others, how you value being treated. And yeah, for those of us who maybe suffer from low self-esteem, from broken homes, that's a part of life that we have to work with. Maybe we can look at the bully in compassion, because there's something broken in their home that have led them to be how they are. And you'll learn these ebbs and flows. The more you live your life, you'll gain knowledge and wisdom, and hopefully that knowledge and wisdom will help you to elevate your awareness and bring up your emotional intelligence and your spirituality. So yeah, it's a lot. So to further go, that's why it's like, for me to suggest to teenagers how to discover who they are, like, start small with the little things, because not all teenagers, I understand, have the ability to be individuals in and of themselves with certain caregivers. Even for the most well-meaning caregivers and parents, there's those who want to impose upon the child like a future profession. They want them to be a doctor, a lawyer, take over the family business. And it's like, as a teenager, like, do you really want that? I mean, if you do, great. But if you don't, like, is it possible to even sit down with your parents and be like, you know what, I really don't want to do that, and it's because you're so dependent upon this person or these people for your shelter, your food, and your clothing. So yeah, it's like wild and crazy to me to think about. And then when it comes to beliefs, maybe you're a kid, and this breaks my heart when I hear of these stories, how you're a kid and you know exactly who you are, and you know that you're gay, but you live in a household maybe run by Christian fundamentalists who are very stern and strict, and no kid under this roof is going to be gay, and how do you navigate that to live your authentic self in that time frame you're in? Could be super duper dangerous. And for those of you who are in a situation like that, I do, please, please, please research, find some LGBTQ plus groups, counselors that can help you navigate such a intense situation. So I feel like it's more feasible to start, I guess, living authentically in these things that you learn about yourself after you're out on your own. So yeah, there's so much that goes into it. And then when you look at yourself and you start living in mindfulness and consciousness of how you treat other people, how you treat yourself, it's some of it is going to bother you a lot, and it's a part of growing as individuals. So you can ask yourself, like, if you notice that you're constantly belittling the people around you, do you like that about yourself? And if you're okay with that, I guess do you. But maybe you realize, like, oh, I don't want to be that person. Then now you have the ability to change. And slowly but surely, of course, you won't be able to do it overnight, but be conscious of how you respond to those around you. And there'll be that moment that you're like, and take it and take a breath and don't act that way, and lay that belief down about yourself and start being more kind if that's how you want to be. And the way you respond and react in the world, yes, that is who you are today. But like I said, if it's something you don't like, don't put yourself down for it, because you know you have the capacity to change. Oh, because even my little dog believes in you. So yes, another thing you can practice is solitude, being with yourself, by yourself, for yourself. And I like sitting in nature, but I mean, that's everybody's different preference. And I find it really helps me. I can just sit, think, be myself without all the noise, without thinking I'm being judged or what have you. Like, I can just breathe and introspect. I believe in introspection, self-reflection, and yes, journal while you're with yourself. And it gives you little windows, little insights on all these little parts of you that make you you. And some of it's going to be really, really hard, but you can do it. I believe in you. And some of it will be really easy. And as you're moving in the world and you're noticing things that bother you, certain situations will irritate you, certain people will make you angry, other things will make you sad. Those things are the universe pointing out the things within you that you need to work on, and the things that bring you joy and happiness and spark. Those are the things that you should build upon, because those are the things that the universe is showing you that will lead you to your higher good. So I hope some of this helps you. And thank you so much, so much for watching. And stay safe, smile all the time, and have a great one. And I'll see you next time. Bye.